What's up, Capstone family? Hey, this is Ed coming at you on this 25th of March on Friday. Hope you're having an amazing week. Jumping into this week with so many things going on. Back in the office, a lot of things just coming at us, which is amazing. The market is definitely as hot as can be, and it's evaluating and looking at what that really means and where's this market going. Had numerous conversations, at least a half a dozen this week, with those of you that are contemplating, what to do with your property moving forward. If you are looking at your options, please call us. Let's talk through that. That's our jam. That's where I can help you the most. I think because we do the rental side, it's definitely time to evaluate increasing rents if that's the route you decide to choose. However, if you're looking at selling, we've got options. Options that can save you commission, options that can get you more, options that are pushing the values for every single one of our listings right now above and beyond what our clients expect, which is great. And if you really want to talk through those, let me know. We have really, really good lines on buyers right now that are off market, looking to pick things up. And when I bring up the numbers every week, I bring these numbers up based on the data that I'm pulling on our website, right? And the other stuff that I'm looking at is basically the same stuff. It's coming off the MLS. What this doesn't tell us is what's not selling on the MLS, right? So oftentimes when I look at the data, like right now, I'm looking at a graph. And the graph is days of inventory on the market, which is really, really low. Days on the market right now, days of inventory, how many days it would take to gobble up every bit of inventory based on the demand right now is less than 17 days, which is as low as it's ever been. I think last year it got just about as low, but they're like neck and neck. That's so far. Like 2011, for example, was at 150 days, right? 150 days of inventory, which is decent, which is it seems more like a balanced type of market. So in this situation, like with this 17 days of inventory on the market on the MLS, that's telling us what's on the MLS. Most of the calls, most of the people that I'm talking to, if you have a house that you want to sell and there's a tenant in it and I've got the ability to get my hands on it 2-3 months ahead of time and know what we're doing, we're putting it out there to other buyers as well. And for better or for worse, my job in this is to get you paid the most, right? Yes, I do have an opinion of what's happening in the market right now and the direction that it's going. But at the end of the day, whoever's going to pay you the most for your property is who we're going to talk to, right? And we have because we've been selling so many houses and we have a steady stream of listings that we put on the market, I've got a lot of people that I talk to regularly that are actively buying these properties for bigger buyers. Bigger buyers meaning hedge funds that are picking up properties here in the valley and holding them long term. It's changing the landscape of the Phoenix market. It's increasing prices, of course. For investors like you and I, it's changing the game because we're not going to be able to compete at that level. Like I can't compete with those guys when it comes to buying. I've got to have a better. If I'm going to start, buying your properties against these guys, I'm paying less, right? I'd have to. I couldn't make the numbers work like they do because I don't have as deep of pockets, nor do you, right? So it's changing the landscape of Phoenix, and that's something that we just have to be aware of. And when you're selling, 9 times out of 10 right now, I'm not even going on the MLS yet. I'm getting offers that they don't want to see it on the MLS more times than not, or at least some of them. So it's a strategy. There's a really, really cool, interesting strategy behind it. If you want to talk about it, feel free to give me a call. But again, because of how it works, we're able to save you some on commission. We're able to save you the stress of having to deal with a lot of the repairs. We're able to help you deal with, not having to deal with much of that stuff, but still having people compete for your property to where it's exceptionally competitive. And again, when it's out there before anybody else can have access to it, it tends to bring up the values. And when I say bring up the value, I'm meaning, if I'm looking at the trends in a particular neighborhood and I'm trending price per square foot, I'm crushing that every time. Every time. Like, highest price per square foot in a neighborhood, we'll crush that, And it's like, this isn't because I'm the most amazing dude in the world. Like, I think I'm pretty cool, but it's just the game. It's how it's being played right now. And if we play this game correctly, you win, right? And that's what it's coming down to. And it's wild out there. Okay, so understanding what investors are expecting right now from the market is definitely something super important. That leads into how we're pushing that value. Also on the rental side, what does that look like? What's the strategy of some of our competitors out there? And by competitors, I mean, we're competing with these big conglomerates that are keeping their property values way up here. They're waiting for that tenant, and they have the time to wait for it. So you might see something rent in your particular neighborhood when we're running comps, and the value might be so much higher than we might be suggesting. Well, the reason for that is because they can wait. We can't. Right? We want to get your property rented within 30 days. And when we push that price so high, like we're tracking and trending like these other guys, their budgets for what they're putting into these properties after buying them, significantly higher than what I'm asking you for, right? You're not turning them like they are. You're not putting the amount of money into them that they are. So their properties are way up here. Having a better idea now in this market of what these guys look for and what this looks like is totally different than what I'm asking you to do. So we have to make sure that we're pricing accordingly, getting them rented out so we can get them done in the 30 days. Again, also, if you're talking to people who are helping you try to buy these properties right now, make sure that when they're running these comps for you, you're paying attention to what are the companies, who are the owners behind the comps that they're running. If you're looking at these comps and they say stuff like, Progress Residential, the bigger players that are keeping those values so high and waiting until they get that. They don't do many price reductions. You don't see a lot of price reductions on their properties. They let it ride, right? If that's the comp that we're using to base your value on and you're counting on that rental, like, whoa, let's reevaluate. Let's see if that makes sense. And let's see what it's really going to take. Cool things happening in the area. We've been talking about this for a couple years now, but the semiconductor industry is just absolutely transforming the landscape out here. LG just announced this week that they're going to be putting in a new battery facility, building batteries out in Queen Creek, a $2.8 billion facility that they're getting started on. There's another one, right? Another microelectronics semiconductor company that's coming out here. You ask those that know right now, and it's like, this is the future. Like, this is where Phoenix is going to be. And in 5 and 10 years, real estate's not slowing down. It's just going to continue at this pace, and will look no different than, the rates and lease prices of California or Washington or anything like that. So let's see what happens. I mean, that being said, plan the strategy accordingly, right? Your strategy is your own. So it's like, if you want to talk through that, let's talk through it. I love that stuff. Investor HELOCs. I mentioned I'm going through one personally on a primary. However, my guy got us investor rates and what those programs look like right now, and they look really attractive. So if that's something that you're looking to pull money out instead of sell your property, you want to just use some of the equity which is tied up in that property for something else, you can use your home like a credit card with very, very, very good rates. And remember, the interest is a write-off. The interest that you pay on those HELOCs because it's associated with your home, is tax deductible, which is great. Or I don't know what you call it, but I hope that helps. Keep that in mind. The strategy around this stuff is just getting more and more interesting. Being in this space right now where, we control as many assets here in the Valley as we do, we're seeing so many things happening. And, again, this message is just to keep you in the know, to let you know like what we're thinking behind the scenes, what we're seeing, to ensure that your decisions that you're making moving forward are the best possible scenario for you, right? That they align with your goals and you're able to keep tabs on what's really happening. Cool. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Thanks again for watching. If you have other questions, anything else, please feel free to reach out to me directly via email. Let's set up a time to chat so I can, really evaluate what you got going on, see what we can do to help you moving forward. Have a great weekend. Oh, and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks.